and his work. And you also probably hold a passionate grievance against him. Junior, if you're lost, don't worry. You'll encounter him in a while.
But truth be told, Shakespeare's plays were never meant to be read out loud in class, analyzing the emotions of characters in such depth that if he were here today, even he would be amazed at our creative interpretations. So today, to do justice to this innocent guard, our classmates have worked hard to show you that he's not all that bad, and maybe even you all can learn to appreciate him.
To appreciate this gifted individual, we have tried to provide a flavor of his work by enacting various parts of his famous plays. Assuming you've read the posters outside, you should be able to follow what's happening on stage fairly well. Now, let's keep an open mind and listen to what the old man has to say.
Presenting a tribute to Shakespeare.
Will amaze.
Welcome to the talk show, Will Amaze. When I first got word that I'd be interviewing William Shakespeare for my show, I was amped. There was one minor snag. He was dead. No worries, I'm resourceful. I immediately got to work and fixed an appointment with Willie's ghost. Resurrecting an iconic man after 400 years of his death was rather difficult. What is about Shakespeare? A man from a small town, Stratford upon Avon, that has people hooked even after 4 centuries of his death. Undoubtedly, it is his inimitable works. William Shakespeare is known to be an international figure who has crossed boundaries and explored issues that is relevant even today. Many facets of Shakespeare's works still appeal to us because of its universal themes.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Knock, knock.
Oh, it's Mr. William Shakespeare, fresh from the grave. Thank you for coming for a show. Will Amaze on All Souls Day. Technically, there's no other way we could get you here, given the ardent spirit form you are in. Welcome to our stage, Chilling with the Bard.
Where's the stage?
This is the stage.
This you call a stage? Where are the curtains, the setting, the backdrop, the groundlings? Oh, what an insult to theatre. This is atrocious.
My sincere apologies, Mr. Shakespeare, but this is how it works nowadays.
I pity the fate of theatre.
Mr. Shakespeare?
Truly, you may call me Will. Thou art most welcome. This is the one rare occasion when I have every right to come back to life from my grave. Although personally, I prefer descent. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come. When we have shuffled off this moral coil, must give us pause.
Stop quoting your lines, Willie. We know it is from your most acclaimed work, Hamlet.
You know, you quote me every day and every moment. Have you realized that? I am irresistible, you know.
So, Willie, what was your occupation?
One that makes words dance upon the page and vents into the air of the throng.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get that.
I wrote plays.
Goodness sake, why did you just say so? Oh, and your specialized subject?
Phrases that I made up and words that I coined. I left the whole dictionary full of my favorite words for you to speak the Queen's English.
We are blessed. So you wrote phrases.
Of course I did. And on and on. I feel a song coming my way. I've been compelled by my airy face to sing it. Agents, stop. Caliban, stop. Get out.
This is the short and long of it. Brevity is the soul of it. So good luck would have it. You can go. Oh, you suffered greed and jealousy. Please do not stand on ceremony. I wrote the Queen's English I wrote. It's Greek to me. That's a Shakespeare line. Milan Greek to me. He was the first to combine the people and variety. Yeah, that was one of mine. Don't call me flaky, I'm William Shaky. I lazy with the crazy Shakespeare. I was the greatest, I was ace. To find a better writer, that's a wild goose chase. I was truly brilliant, it's just like I sing. You can't have too much of a good thing.
If music be the fruit of love, play on.
And to Brute, did you ever know? Forever and a day, from the Shakespeare show. Good riddance, fair play, pure as the driven snow. High time, lie low, Raphael, the Romeo, the nation's favorite bard, Shakespeare. Doobie, 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 doobie or not doobie, shooby, doobie, doobie, Shakespeare.
Welcome back, Willie, to this episode of Chilling with the Bard. Everyone calls you the Bard of Avon. What's a bard anyway?
What's in a name? It means a poet. It means a poet, a master storyteller, or a verse maker. Am I not that? Of course, I'm not a bard. I am the bard.
So, did you take creative writing classes to become a bard?
No, heavens forfend. We studied Greek and Latin. It was considered the very embodiment of culture. Our gracious Queen Elizabeth spoke Latin. Nay, school was not for art, but for speech.
Well, surely that was where you first found a fondness for words, isn't it?
You speak truly, wise and witty interviewer, and your appliance of alliteration, first found a fondness, amuses me. Amateur though it may be. Yes, language has always been my great intriguer.
Willie, on another topic, you are admired for being an iconic sonneteer too. Sonnets are generally written for special occasions, weddings, and such celebrations. Your sonnets have ever found place in teenage hearts. There's a theory that your sonnets, all 154 of them, are shrouded in mystery about the William Shakespeare we don't know.
I'm not an ideological poet. I'm a poet of concrete human situations. My sonnets are immortal. They have stood the test of time. Which one are you referring to?
There's a gorgeous little sonnet that's perhaps one of the best known pieces of poetry in the world. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? What can I imagine about that?
I beg thee do not ask. I wrote it as a eulogy. I wrote it with a bereaved heart as a tribute to my little son Hamlet on his untimely death.
I can imagine your heartache. What did you do to survive this great loss?
There was nothing much I could do except console Anne and myself. In the darkness of the night, with an inconsolable heart, expressing my feelings through words, talking about eternity in the poem, I froze my cherub in time and in my mind to be immortal in my life and in the centuries to come.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's leaves have all too short a date. Sometime too hot,
the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometimes declines by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou ownest, nor shall that brag thou wanderest in his shade, so long as men can breathe, or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee.
On another note, how did you get started in theatre? How did you become the master playwright?
My first job was to hold the horses of men who used to stop outside the theatre. I was quite a poor actor, but later realized that I had a small talent for writing.
So, how did this small talent for writing become a grand passion?
In Elizabethan times, there was an insatiable demand for new material to feed the mass entertainment industry. Filling the demand was easier. First I was a queensman, and then a kingsman. I devotedly wished to be a playwright and wrote for the queen and the public.
Why do you think Shakespeare is so resonant to us even today? Why is he still important? How did he become the psychological playwright?
I guess he has a way of saying things that has never been better. Getting to the nub of things, you know. What is to be a human being. And I believe he says it better than anybody else.
In 1599, in your 35th year, you wrote a play, As You Like It, a pastoral comedy, and the play was full of wonderful characters. Jacques was one of them, who talks about the 7 stages of man.
Ah, 7 ages of man. Jacques was a cynic, a melancholic man, but I made him my mouthpiece. The speech compares the world to a stage and life to a play, and catalogs the 7 stages of a man's life.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being the 7 ages. At first, the infant, puking and mewling in the nurse's arms. Then, a whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail, unwilling to go to school. Then, a lover, sighing like furnace with a woeful ballad made to his mistress's eyebrow. Then, a soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the bard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble's reputation even in the cannon's mouth. Then, the justice, in fair round belly and good cape and line, eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of by saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part. The 6th stage shifts into the lean and slip-out pantaloon, spectacles on nose and pouch on side. His youthful horse saved, for the world too wide for his strong shank, his voice turning again towards childish treble. Then, the last scene of all, that ends his strange and eventful history, is set in childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, and sans everything.
you travel the distance from varieties of your historical to mythical, fantastic, imaginary, comedies, and the later romances.
As a child, I heard stories about ghosts, goblins, witches, and fairies. You see, Stratford bordered on the forest of Arden, and I could delightfully imagine Ariel, Caliban, ghosts, fairies, and witches inhabiting in them. I brought them to life with my craftsmanship.
What is the role of supernatural in your plays?
I use the supernatural powers of the unseen, ghosts, witches, goblins, to appear and reappear in one play after another. I use it as a blanket term to cover all unnatural phenomena. It plays a crucial role in defining the theme, the characters, and the general philosophy present in them.
You are very skillful in your artistry of using the supernatural power sparingly.
Rightly so. Its overuse might have lost its significance and influence. The supernatural machinery contributes to the action, as it gives a conformation and distinct form to the inner workings of a character's psyche.
So, is the supernatural symbolic of something or mere stage accessories in your tragic play of Macbeth?
In fact, both. The witches in Macbeth symbolize the guilt in Macbeth's soul. The three witches lead Macbeth into the gory path of murder. They symbolize the evil which tempts human beings.
There is power and foul is fair, covered with fog and filthy air. Why, how now, Hecate? You look ungodly.
Have I not reason? Bedlammed as you are, saucy and overbold. How did you dare to trade in traffic with Macbeth, in riddles and affairs of death, when I, the mistress of your charms and contriver of all harms, was never called to bear my part or show the glory of my art? The worst is this what you've done hath been but for a wayward son, spiteful and wrathful, who as others do, loves his own ends and not for you. But make amends now, get you gone, and at the pit of Acheron. Meet me in the morning, thither he will come to know his destiny. Your vessels and your spells provide, with your charms and everything beside. I am for the air, and this night I will spend a dismal and a fatal end. Great business must be wrought before noon. Upon the corner of the moon hangs a vaporous drop profound, which I'll catch it before it come to ground. And then, distilled by such magic sleights, shall raise such artificial sprites. The strength of this illusion will draw him on to his conclusion. He shall scorn fate, spurn death, and bear his hopes above all wisdom, grace, and fear. And as you all know, security is the mortal's chiefest enemy. He'll be fooled into thinking he's greater than fate. He will knock death, and he'll believe he's greater than all wisdom, grace, and fear. As you always know, overconfidence is the man's greatest enemy. Hark! I'm being called. My little spirit sits in a foggy cloud waiting for me. Listen!
and toe of frog, full of bat and tongue of dog. Adder's fork and blind sting, lizard's leg and owlet's wing, for a charm of powerful trouble, like a head brought, boil and bubble.
Trouble, trouble, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble, scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, maw and gulf, root of hemlock, digged in the dark, slivered in the moon's eclipse, nose of Turk, and Tartar's lips, finger of the bird, strangled babe, ditch delivered by a grab, make the gruel thick and slab, and let you a tiger's children, full ingredients of a cauldron. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Cool it with the baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good.
Oh, well done. I commend your pains. Now everyone shall share in the games. Now about the cauldron sing, like the elves and fairies in a ring, enchanting all that you see.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Open locks, whoever knocks.
Justice is a literary device in which ultimately virtue is rewarded and viciousness is punished. It recognizes the need of poetic justice to the victims and the evildoers in the play.
Poetic justice is a moral order of the universe, the effect and action of which are not to be determined by human passions or desires.
Did your audience realize that you were mindful of this artistic necessity? How did you make this happen?
Macbeth murders Duncan in sleep. He himself is not able to sleep anymore and presents a well-known eulogy to sleep.
Sleep no more. Macbeth does murder sleep. The innocent sleep. Sleep that knits up the raveled sleep of care. The debt of each day's life. Sore labor's path. Balm of earth minds. Great nature's second course. Chief nourisher of life's feast.
I have 2 nights watching you, but can perceive no truths in your reports. When was it she last walked?
Since His Majesty went into the field, I have seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, and lock her closet. Take full paper, fold it, write upon it, read it, afterwards seal it, and again return to bed. Yet all this while in most fast sleep.
A great perturbation in nature to receive at once the benefit of sleep and do the effects of watching. In this slumbering agitation, besides the walking and other actual performances, what, at any time, have you heard her say?
That, sir, which I will not report after her.
You may to me, and it's most meet you should.
Neither do you nor anyone, having no witness to confirm my speech. Lo you, here she comes. This is her very guise, and upon my life, fast asleep, observe her, stand close.
How came she by that light?
Why, it stood by her. She has, lied by her continually, it is her command.
You see, eyes are open.
Aye, but their senses are shut.
What is it she does not? Look, how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her to seem as if washing her hands. I have known her continue in this a quarter of an hour.
Yet, here's a spot.
How? She speaks. I will set down what comes from her. To satisfy my remembrance, the most strongly.
Oh, damn spot out, I say. 1, 2. Why then, 'tis time to do it.
Go to. You have known what you should not.
She has spoken what she should not. I'm sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known.
Yes, the smell of blood. Still, all the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand.
What desire is there? The heart is solely charged.
I would not have such a heart in her bosom for the dignity of my whole body.
Well.
Pray God it be so.
This disease is beyond my practice. Yet, I have known those which have walked in their sleep and died holily in their beds.
Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. I tell you yet again. Banquo is buried. And he cannot come out in his grave.
Even so,
To bed. To bed. He's knocking at the gate. Come. Give me your hand. What is done cannot be undone. To bed. To bed. To bed.
will she go now to bed?
Directly.
Foul whisperings are abroad. Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds to their deaf pillows will discharge their secrets. More she needs the divine than the physician. God forgive us all. Look after her. Remove her from the means of all nonsense and still keep eyes upon her. So, good night. My mind she has mated and amazed me by her sight. I think they dare not speak.
Good night, Bishop.
On receiving the news about Lady Macbeth's death, Macbeth only burst on the stoic philosophy of life and death, and on the transitoriness and insignificance of human life.
Macbeth is a tragic play, a tragedy of ambitions, a story of the fall of a hero. I contemplate life, its meaning and its worthwhileness in Macbeth's soliloquy.
Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, brief candle, light but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and beauty, signifying nothing.
Your tragic heroes are men of high honor. Hamlet, the Prince of Denmark, is haunted and summoned by his father's ghost to avenge the father's unnatural death.
In case of Hamlet, it is indecision, a man of abstract speculation and his aversion from action. He often retires into a world of fantasy, but when he decides to avenge, the revenge is accomplished in an accidental and spasmodic action.
To be or not to be? That is the question.
nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them. To die, to sleep, no more, and by a sleep, to say, we had the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that crushes it. It's the consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we are shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity a so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns of the patient merit that the unworthy takes, when he himself might as quiet as me with a bare bodkin, who fardel bears to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveller returns, puzzles the will, and makes us bear those ills we have, then fly to others that we know not of. Thus, conscience doth make cowards of us all, and thus the native view of resolution is secluded over the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pitch and moment in this regard their current turns hoary and lose the name of action.
Shakespeare, the supreme playwright, succeeded in writing a spectacular poetical speech inserted in the play Julius Caesar. Mark Antony's speech is remarkable for its effectiveness. Mark Antony combines rational and emotional speech, diction, action. The art of persuasion is not far removed from the craft of manipulation.
A beautiful speech and substantial from the stylistic point of view, but reveals an impressive political strategy and remarkable oratory. His elegiac tone stirs the people. He delivers 137 lines of blank verse before he starts using rhetoric and calculated histrionics to incite the crowd into a mob frenzy. Quite remarkable for a man who denies having this ability.
Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? When that the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. You all did see that on the Lupercal. Atrius presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke, but here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? Oh, judgment, thou art fed to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me, my heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause till it come back to me. But yesterday, the word of Caesar might have stood against the world. Now lies he there, and none so poor to do him reverence. O masters, were I disposed to stir your hearts and mine to mutiny and rage, I should do Brutus wrong, and Cassius wrong, who you all know are honorable men. I will not do them wrong. I rather choose to wrong the dead, to wrong myself and you, than to wrong such honorable men. But here is a parchment with the seal of Caesar. I found it in his closet. This is real. Oh, let but the commons hear this testament, which, pardon me, I do not mean to read. And they shall go and kiss dead Caesar's wounds and dip their napkins in his sacred blood. Yeah, beg a hair of him for memory and dine. Mention it within their wills, bequeathing it as rich legacy unto their issue. Good friends, sweet friends, let me not stir you up to such a sudden flood of mutiny. They that have done these deeds are honorable. What private breeze they have, alas, I know not, that made them do it. They are wise and honorable, and will, no doubt, with the reasons shall answer you. I come not to steal away your hearts. I am no orator as Brutus is, but as you know me all, a plain blunt man, that love my friend, and that they know full well that gave me public leave to speak of them. For I have neither wit, nor words, nor worth, action, nor utterance, nor the power of speech to stir men's blood. I only speak right on. I tell you that which you yourself do know. Show you sweet Caesar's wounds, poor dumb mouths, and bid them speak for me. But were I Brutus, and Brutus Antony, there were an Antony who would ruffle up his spirits and put a tongue in every wound of Caesar, that should move the stones of Rome to rise and mutiny. Why, friends, you go to do you know not what? Wherein hath Caesar thus deserved your loves? Alas, you know not. I must tell you then, you have forgot the will I told you of. Here is the will, and under the seal of Caesar, to every Roman citizen he gives, to every several man, 75 drachmas. Moreover, he hath left you all his walks, his private arbors, and new planted orchards on this side of Tiber. He hath left them to you, and to your heirs forever. Common pleasures, to walk abroad and recreate yourselves. Oh, here was a Caesar. When comes such another?
There is a very element of comedy throughout your plays. The character and the plot reflect a subtle, sarcastic comicality. Shakespeare's fools are usually clever peasants or commoners that use their wits to outdo people of higher social standing. The buffoon was a complex character who could highlight more important issues.
Fools, clowns, and jesters all say wise things in an amusing way, so as to not sound like a drone. Dutch Toad, as he like it, himself comments that he loves a good fool, and more than once says that talks about the wisdom in foolishness.
You clowns have provided an emotional vacation from the more serious business of the main action. Even as serious confrontation takes place, a comical scene would extend a comic relief.
My fools speak truth to the characters and the audience. Their characteristics are highly heightened for theatrical effects. They address themes of love, psychic turmoil, personal identity, and innumerable others which may arise in a play.
Certainly, my conscience will serve me to run from this Jew, my master. The fiend is at mine elbow and tempts me, saying to me, Go, Lancelot, go, good Lancelot, good Gobo, or good Lancelot, go, use your legs, take the start, run away. My conscience says, no, take heed, honest Lancelot, take heed, honest Gobo, or as aforesaid, honest Lancelot, go, do not run, scorn running with thy heels. Well, the most courageous fiend bids me back. Wire, says the fiend, away, says the fiend, for the heavens, rouse up a brave mind, says the fiend, and run. Well, my conscience, hanging about the neck of my heart, says very wisely to me, my honest friend Lancelot, being an honest man's son, or rather, an honest woman's son, well, my conscience says, Lancelot, budge not. Budge, says my fiend. Budge not, says my conscience. Conscience, say I. You counsel well. Fiend, say I. You counsel well. To be ruled by my conscience, I should stay with the Jew, my master, who, God bless the mark, is a kind of devil. And to run away from the Jew, I should be ruled by my fiend, who, saving your reverence, is the devil himself. Certainly, the Jew is the very devil incarnation. And in my conscience is but a kind of hard conscience to offer to counsel me to stay with the Jew. The fiend gives me the more friendly counsel. I will run, fiend. My heels are at your commandment. I will run.
That was Cloud's character from The Merchant of Venice. From the time of its production, The Merchant of Venice has uncomfortably straddled the boundary between comedy and tragedy. You wrote this play around 1596, isn't it? We hear that it was registered for publication by a different name. People favor calling it the most excellent history. Is that so?
That is so. It was called The Jew of Venice, because it was unclear whether it was Antonio's or Shylock's story. The discussion on comedy versus tragedy first started budging it since its first edition, and it emphasized both the cruelty of Shylock the Jew towards Antonio and the obtaining of Portia by the choice of the casket.
The Merchant of Venice is best described as a festive comedy, moving from comic harmony to tragic dissonance. The treatment of serious issues, racism, gender discrimination, conversion are quite disturbing in the play, and thus renders it a status of tragicomedy.
The two strands of the play have deep anthropological and psychological dimensions, which add a good deal of complexity to the play. It suggests that the plot elements are ancient and richly resonate and reinforce the play's fascination with desire, conversion, and wish fulfillment.
Your comedies and later romantic plays are all about transformation. Women dressed as men, changeling, twins, magic potions, leading to total inversion of behavior. Why must your female character disguise?
The position of women was quite disturbing in our times. Quite often, dirty jokes were played on them. My female characters had to disguise like men to obtain their own desires. I made them cross-dress to make them gain freedom from the societal strictures.
What? Is Antonio here? Ready. So please your grace. I'm sorry for thee. Thou art come to answer a stony adversary, an inhuman wretch, incapable of pity, void, and empty from any gram of mercy. I've heard your grace had taken great pains to qualify his rigorous course, but since he stands obdurate and no lawful means can carry me out of his endless reach, and I'm bound to suffer with the quietness of spirit, the very tyranny and rage of his. Go on and call the Jew into the court.
He is ready at the door. He comes, my lord.
Make room and let him stand before our face. Shata, the world thinks, and I think so too, that thou but leadest this fashion of thy malice to the last hour of act. And then this thought, thou show mercy and remorse, more strange than is thy apparent cruelty. And where thou now exacts the penalty, which is a pound of this poor merchant's flesh, thou wilt not only lose the forfeiture, but thus with human gentleness and love, forgive a multitude of the principle, glancing an eye of pity on his losses that have so late handled on his back. And now to press the royal merchant down and pluck commiseration of his state from brassy bosoms and rough hearts of flint, from stubborn Turks and Tartars, never trained to offices of tender courtesy. You all expect a gentle answer, Jew.
I know the purpose why I'm here. And what if my house be turned with a rat, and I be pleased to give 10,000 ducats to have it paid? Are you answering yet? I know why he cannot abide a gaping pig, why he, a harmless, necessary cat, why he, who wouldn't backbite, must yield to such inevitable shame as to offend himself being offended. So can I give no reasons, nor will I not, more than a lodged hate and a certain loathing. I bear Antonio that I follow thus, a losing suit against him. Are you answered?
This is no answer, thou unfeeling man. Excuse the current of thy cruelty.
I am not bound to please thee with my answers.
Do all men kill the things they do not love?
Hate any man a thing you would not kill.
Every offense is not hate at first.
Would thou have a serpent sting thee twice?
I pray you, think, you question with the Jew. You may ask them to stand upon the beach and bait the Mayflower, bait his usual height. You may ask them question with the wolf, that hither you bleed for the lamb. You may ask them forbid the mountain pines to wag their high tops and to make no noise when threatened with the gusts of heaven. You may as well do anything most hard as seek to soften that which was harder, his Jewish heart. Therefore, I do beseech you, make no more offers, use no further means, but with all brief
and plain conveniency. Let me have judgment, and the Jew is will.
For thy 3,000 ducats, here is 6.
But every ducat in 6 parts, and every part a ducat. I would not draw them. I have my bond.
How should thou hope for mercy, rendering none?
What judgment shall I take doing no wrong? You have among you many a purchased slaves, which like your assets, dogs and mules, you use in abject and slavish ones because you want them. Shall I say to you, let them be free, marry them to your heirs. Why sweat them the burdens? Let their beds be made as soft as yours. Let their palates be seasoned with such wines. You will answer, the slaves are ours. So do I answer you. The pound of flesh which I demand of him is dearly bought. Tis mine. Tis mine. Tis mine. And I will have it. If you deny it, fire upon your law. There is no possibility to disobey this. I stand for judgment. Answer, shall I have it?
Upon my power, I may dismiss this court, unless Valerio, a learned doctor, whom I have sent for to determine this, come here today.
My lord, yours is without a messenger with letters from the doctor. You come from Balu.
Bring us the letter, call the messenger.
Good cheer unto you. What man? Courage yet. The Jew shall have my flesh, blood, bones and all. Here thou shalt lose from me one drop of blood.
I'm a tainted feather of the flock, meters for death. The weakest kind of fruit drops earliest to the ground. And so let me. You cannot better be employed, Bassanio, than to live still and write my epitaph.
Came you from Padua, from old Valerio.
From both, my lord. Valerio greets your grace.
Why dost thou whet thy knife so earnestly?
To cut the forfeiture from that banker up there.
Not on thy soul, but on thy soul, harsh Jew. Thou makest thy knife keen, but no metal can. No, not the hangman's axe, bear half the keenness of thy sharp envy. Can no prayers pierce thee?
No. None that thou art great enough to make.
Oh, be thou damned, inexorable girl, and for thy life let justice be accused. Thou almost makest me waver in my faith, to hold opinion with Pythagoras, that souls of animals infuse themselves into the trunks of men. Thy courage spirit, governed the bull, who, hanged for human slaughter, even from the gallows did his fell soul flee, and whilst thou layest in thy unhallowed dam, infuse itself in thee, for thy desires are wolvish, bloody, starved, and ravenous.
Till thou hast sailed the seal of my lord. But thou thy offense thy tongue to speak so loud to you. Prepare thy way to reduce, or to fall to cureless ruin. I stand here for law.
This letter from Valerio doth commend a young and learned doctor to our court. Where is he?
He attendeth here hard by, my lord. To know your answer, whether you will admit him.
With all my heart, some 3 or 4 of you, go give him courteous conduct to this place. Is the doctor here? Give me your hand. Come you from old Valerio.
I did, my lord.
You're welcome. Take your place. Are you acquainted with the difference that holds this present question in court?
I am acquainted thoroughly of the cause. Which is the merchant here and which the Jew?
Antonio and old Shylock both stand forth.
So he says.
Do you confess the bond?
I do.
Then must the Jew be merciful?
On what compulsion must I? Tell me that.
The quality of mercy is not strange. It droppeth as a gentle rain from heaven upon the face and leaf. It is twice blessed. It is twice blessed. It blesses him that gives and him that takes. It is mightiest in the mightiest. It becomes the throned monarch better than his crown. His scepter shows the force of temporal power, the attribute to awe and majesty. Wherein doth sit the dread and fear of kings, but mercy is above the sceptred sway. It is enthroned in the hearts of kings. It is an attribute to God himself. An earthly power doth then show like his gods when mercy seasons justice. Therefore, Jew, though justice be thy plea, consider this, that in the course of justice, none of us shall see salvation. We do pray for mercy, and that same prayer doth teach us all to render the deeds of mercy. I have spoken thus much to mitigate the justice of thy plea, which if thou follow, the strict court of Venice must needs give sentence against the merchant there.
My deeds upon my head. I crave the law, penalty, and forfeit of my bond.
Is he not able to discharge the money?
Yes, here I tendered it for him, in the court. Ye twice the sum. If that will not suffice, I will be bound to pay 10 times over, on forfeit of my hands, my head, my heart. If that will not suffice, it must appear that malice bears down truth. And I beseech you, rest once the law to your authority, to do a great right, a little wrong, and cope this cruel devil of his will.
It must not be. There is no power in Venice can alter a decree established. It will be recorded for a precedent, and many an error by the same example will rush into the state. It cannot be.
Daniel! Here Daniel come to judgment. O wise and upright judge, how do I honor thee?
I pray you, let me look upon the bond.
Hear this. Here it is. Second doctor. Here it is.
Shiloh, there's thrice thy money offered thee.
An oath. An oath. I had an oath in heaven. Shall I write perjury on my soul? No. Never. Not from Venice.
Why, this bond is forfeit, and lawfully by this, the Jew may claim a pound of flesh to be by him cut off, nearest the merchant's heart. Be merciful, take thrice thy money, bid me tear the bond.
When it is paid, I'm going to retain her. It does appear you're a noble judge. You know the law. The expression had been very sound. Therefore, I charge you by the law, the penalty and forfeit of your bond, whereof you are well deserving spiller. And by my soul I swear, there is no force in the tongue of man to alter me. I stay here on my bond.
Most heartily, I do beseech the court. Give the judgment.
Why then, thus it is. You must prepare your bosom for his knife.
Most rightful judge.
Therefore, lay bare your bosom.
Most learned judge. Sentence. Come, prepare.
Daniel! There is something else. This bond here give thee no jot of blood. The words expressly are a pound of flesh. Take then thy bond, take thy pound of flesh, but in the cutting of it, if thou shed one drop of Christian blood, thou lands and goods are by the laws of Venice confiscate unto the state of Venice.
O upright judge, mark Jew, O learned judge.
Is that the law?
Thyself shalt see the act, for as thou urgest justice, be assured thou shalt have justice more than thou desirest.
O learned judge, mark Jew, a learned judge.
I take the offer then. Pay the one price and let the Christian go.
Here is the money.
Soft! The Jew shall have all justice. Soft, no haste. He shall have nothing but his forfeiture.
O Jew, an upright judge, a learned judge.
Therefore, prepare thee to cut off the flesh. Shed thou no blood, nor cut thou more or less than just a pound of flesh. If thou cuts more or less than a just pound, be it but so much as makes it light or heavy in the substance, or the division of the 20th part of one poor scruple. Nay, if the scale do turn, but in the estimation of a hair, thou diest, and all thy goods are confiscated.
A second Daniel, a Daniel, Jew, now, infidel, I have you on the hip.
Give me my principal and let me go.
I have it ready for thee. Here it is.
He has refused it in the open court. He shall merely have justice and his bond.
A Daniel, still I say, a second Daniel. I thank thee, Jew, for teaching me that word.
Shall I not barely have my principal?
Thou shalt have nothing but the forfeiture, to be taken at thy peril, Jew.
Why? Then the devil gave him good of it. I stayed on the question.
Tarry, Jew. The law had yet another hold on me. It is enacted in the laws of Venice, if it be proved against an alien, that by indirect or direct attempts he seek the life of any citizen, the party against which he doth contrive shall seize one half his goods. The other half comes to the privy coffer of the state, and the offender's life lies in the mercy of the Duke only, against all otherwise. In which predicament, I say, thou standest. For it appears, by manifest proceeding, that directly, indirectly too, thou hast contrived against the very life of the citizen, defendant, and has incurred the danger formerly by me rehearsed. Down therefore, and beg mercy of the Duke.
Beg that thou mayst have leave to hang thyself, and yet thy well-being forfeit to the state. Thou hast not left the valley of a cord, therefore thou shalt be hanged in the state's charge.
That thou shalt see the difference of our spirits. I pardon thee thy life before thou ask it. For half the wealth is Antonio's, and the other half shall come to the general state.
Aye, for the state, not for Antonio.
Nay. Take my life, pardon of that. You do take my house, when you do take the crop, let us stay in my house. You do take the life, when you do take the means whereby I live.
What mercy can you render him, Antonio?
A hundred gratis, nothing else, for God's sake. So please the Duke and all the court to quit one half of his goods. So he let me render to use it upon his death onto a gentleman who lately stole his daughter. Two things provided more. For this favor, he shall presently become a Christian. And he do record a gift in the court of all he does possessed unto his son Lorenzo and his daughter.
He shall do this, or else I do recant the pardon that I late pronounced to her.
it Jew? What dost thou say?
I am content.
Clerk, draw deed of gift.
I pray thee, give me leave from hence. I am not well. Send the deed after me and I will sign it.
Get thee gone, but do it. In christening shalt thou have 2 godfathers. Had I been judge, thou shouldst have had 10 more, to bring thee to the gallows, not the pond. Sir, I entreat you whom the king to dinner.
I humbly do desire grace of pardon, but I must await this night's towards Padua, and it is meet I presently set forth.
Antonio, gratify this gentleman, for in my mind I am much bound to him.
Some say imitation is the greatest form of flattery. But let's face it, sometimes, as it's just amusing to imitate the famous. There's perhaps no one as famous as our good Willie, and such no better than him to parody. Willie, please stick around to watch the spoof we have gotten of your very own Romeo and Juliet. Don't leave us before you have laughed yourself to stitches.
Thou hast tampered with thy work. You minion are too saucy.
Soft, what light through yonder window brings? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who's already sick and pale with grief.
Did you just compare me to a burning ball of gas? A little harsh, don't you think?
Oh, she speaks. Oh, the sound of her voice, the sound of her cricket song. Beautiful at first, gets annoying after around 5 minutes.
Romeo, talk to the lady with respect. You love her, remember?
Lady, I'm only 13, remember? Romeo, oh Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name. Or if thou wilt not, be but sworn my love, and I'll no longer be a puppylet. 'Tis but your name that is my enemy. You are yourself, though not a Montague. What is a Montague? It's
No hand, no foot, no arm, no any other part belonging to a man.
Hey, that's Julie's line.
It's Juliet.
What's in a name? That which we call a rose, by any other name, would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes at that title. But how did you find me on a night as dark as this one? Art thou stalking me?
I found you where I love, the bond of our souls. That, and I asked him it where you were. I stopped you not. Now, I should climb up for a rendezvous.
Tell me wherefore, the orchard walls are high and hard to climb, and the place depth, considering who you are, if anyone finds you here.
Clouds like wings did I overperch these walls, for stony limits cannot hold about.
Unless, of course, you lose your grip on these stony limits and crack your skull on my front lawn.
There's a reason why you both aren't writers. Stick to the lines, please.
If they see thee, they'll murder thee.
Alack, there lies more peril in thine eyes than 20 of their swords. Look thou but sweet, and I have proof against their enmity.
I would not want the world to see you here.
I have night's cloak to hide me from their eyes.
Oh, sweet Romeo, the pain thou goes through brings agony to my soul. Now answer me this. Doth thou If thou dost love me, pronounce it faithfully.
Haven't I said that for the past 40 lines of the script?
I'm just sticking to the script. Blame him.
If your opinions are the food to my ideas, there would be no Shakespeare today. Go on now.
By yonder blessed moon, I vow my love for these two.
Oh, swear not by the moon, the inconstant moon that monthly changes in her circuit of, can I skip this part? It's kind of corny.
Just skip it. Move on.
I have no joy of this matrimonial contract tonight. It's too rash, too unadvised, too illegal.
Oh, without leaving so unsatisfied.
What satisfaction canst thou have tonight?
The exchange of thy love's vow for mine, our marriage.
I gave thee mine before thou didst request it.
Julia,
Anon? Who's Anon?
If you would have just read your script, you would have known that it's your nurse. Get down now. Enough is enough. If it wasn't for me, you both would be on the streets begging for ducats for bread. I've been working day and night writing this script, and not because I want two amateur adolescents to insert the greatest love story of all time. Can you both go on now?
The sudden realization of the lack of my daily bread has dawned upon me, and I feel so compelled to love you.
Yeah, I love you too.
Both go on.
Romeo, at what o'clock shall I send for thee?
By the hour of night.
Till then, 1,000 times good night. Though 'tis almost morning.
Good night, good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow that I shall say good night till tomorrow.
People throughout have questioned your identity. Since your death, there has been quite a sincere debate over your true identity. Your fans wonder how one man could have written so many profound and wonderful words.
How thou wilt sack? What mutter you? Oh, teach me how I should forget to think. Thou hast no more brains than I have in mine elbows. William Shakespeare is my name. Hath not as Shakespeare's eyes, hath not as Shakespeare's hands, organs, dimensions, senses, affections, or passions. Some men are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them.
That was indeed an iconic man, kissed by the Muse. The epitaph on his tomb, which he oddly wrote himself, unearths the story of our eccentric Shakespeare. To quote, "To dig the bones enclosed here, blessed be the man that bears these stones, and cursed be he that moves my bones." Good night.